became a mermaid not as a pearl in a clamshell, but as a girl in a locker room shower stall at the University of Pittsburgh pool during my junior year of high school. I alone saw myself as a rightful mermaid, finally free of my short and pitiful life as a human girl. The others assumed I remained whatever they perceived of me before I ascended, but those were their impressions, their perceptions. As a daughter, my parents refused to recognize my metamorphosis, pretending I was not a mermaid, but their two-legged, high-achieving offspring. As a top competitive swimmer, Jim believed me still his athlete who won meets, races, and points for him and his team. As a best friend, even Kathy presumed me remaining a girl. Her girl. They are all wrong. The media will corrupt you into trusting such nonsensical concepts as overnight success, but in reality, the journey from girl to mermaid is long. Mine took 13 years, beginning when I was 4, though I would not touch chlorine for another 3, would not desire, and then eventually learn to reject its chemical embrace. I look back to these beginning days with some fondness and much exhaustion. My mother gifted me a book of mermaid folklore from around the world for my 4th birthday, thinking the illustrations would captivate and distract me while she was too busy working to provide proper attention. Her plan worked, and I carried my book of mermaid lore everywhere, from preschool to the booster seat and back. Wow, she must love mermaids. She can't put the book down, Mr. Osborne, my preschool teacher, said to my mother when she came to pick me up. Can she even read the words? Of course she can, my mother huffed. She stormed off and tugged me away by my wrist. How dare anyone think her daughter illiterate, even at such a young age? Never mind, Mr. Osborne was more worried about the content, thinking my underdeveloped brain would be warped by the darkness penetrating each tale. Young girls disfigured, men drowned, voices silenced by witches. Never mind my mom did not read the book before she gifted it to me and remained wrongful in her thinking of mermaids as happy, bright, romantic. Never mind the book teaching me that the shadows inside need not be snuffed but treasured, that darkness existed to hide riches from ordinary mortals unable to handle their brilliance, and if I mustered the courage to dive into those veiled depths, these riches could become mine. I dreamt myths larger than my girl body could hold. Mr. Osborne, incredulous at my mother-approved precocity, would give me what he called his 5-finger test. He'd grab the book from my fingers, flip open to a random page, point to a grouping of 5 words, and challenge me to read it out loud. He'd hold up 5 fingers as if offering me a high five, planning to lower a finger with each word I recited wrong, until he'd wield a fist. A fist that never appeared because I delivered the correct words every time. Yet he continued to steal my book and test me throughout the day, as if he believed I could read only in the morning and forgot how by the afternoon. I cannot describe Mr. Osborne's face or his classroom. The tiny details comprising insignificant men like him have long since been discarded from my memory. But I can easily recall the shapes of his greasy fingerprints on my book's laminated cover. He gave me my first experience in attempting to prove myself to a man, with no avail. My favorite folktales in the book were not the most famous. Likely you have heard of Hans Christian Andersen's and Disney's The Little Mermaid. I have already told you to forget what you know, but I know you will not, because you are human and you are eternally trapped in your conventions. But know this, then. The Little Mermaid was too desperate, too frivolous. I hated her disregard for her fantastical tale and family, her desire to ruin herself into sea foam for a man open to incest, who loved her like a sister. It wasn't just the European